everybody. Welcome to the special meeting of the City of Del Rio City Council. It's Wednesday, September 12th, 6 o'clock. If you have a roll call, please.
Councilmember Allian.
Here.
Councilmember Littell. Here. Vice Mayor Clark. Here. Mayor Ullman.
Here. I'd also like to acknowledge Mr. Mike LaPierre, Executive Director of the Monterey Peninsula Regional Airport District, for being present. He's been instrumental in putting together this massive amount of paper, working with the city manager and chief of police. So thank you, sir, for showing up and taking time to be here. Okay, we'll start off new business. CEQA, and this is not a project per guidelines, Article 20, Section 15378. First thing we'll do is consider the contract between the City of Del Rio and the Monterey Peninsula Airport District of Police Services. I'll turn this over to our city manager who's been working on this for, I believe, an exact year, trying to pull all this together. So, Dino, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is a momentous occasion for the City of Del Rio and the Airport District. I enjoyed very much being at the Airport District Board meeting this morning and hearing the board deliberate on this and Mr. LaPierre present it and for it to be approved by his board. In October 2017, the city and the airport agreed to enter into a shared services agreement for Chief of Police Services, and that agreement yielded an annual savings to the airport of $74,100. But more importantly, it brought a tremendous professional in Chief Jeff Hoyne into the position of being our police chief as well as the airport's police chief, splitting his time 50-50. At that time, he was directed to begin assessing the viability of consolidating police departments and to provide police services from that consolidated department to both agencies. Chief Hoyne put together an initial presentation and plan to both the City Council and the Airport Board in March. It was well received by both bodies, and he was directed to continue refining the plan, and city staff and airport staff were directed to begin development of a contract agreement that would frame and capture this consolidation. The agreement that is before you tonight, Mayor and Council, will enhance police services in the City of Del Rio as well as the Airport District. It will increase officer safety, increase officer career opportunities, meet federally mandated police service levels for the Airport District, and provide significant cost savings for the City of Del Rio and the Airport District. As we look at the annual impact, annual savings for the city will be $177,978 resulting from this agreement. When you combine that with the existing savings of roughly $74,000 we're already realizing from the Chief of Police agreement, the combined savings for the city exceeds $250,000 a year, while improving the quality of the service and availability. The amount of work that Chief Hoyne has put into bringing this before us tonight really can't be overstated. And Mr. LaPierre and I have spent many hours hashing through the actual contract, the agreement that's before you tonight, and it's based upon the solid work of how that department would run and what it might cost, and all of that work was done by Chief Hoyne, supported tremendously by Kim Cavallo and to a certain degree Karen Minot. So it's really been a team effort, and I know the entire PD has been involved in this, certainly Commander Berkman, in putting this together and getting us to today. So I'd just like to thank Mike LaPierre in the hard work we've done together. Really call out Chief Hoyne for being the point man and doing the heaviest lift of all of us in organizing this. I think someday it's going to be a fine master's thesis. And also Kim and Karen and Chris for really working through the details and getting it to a point where when we presented it to our finance committee, Councilmember Allian responded very favorably and didn't find a lot of errors there. So I'll stop there, and I'm happy to answer any questions for the council.
Again, Dino, great work. We'll have an opportunity to read what's there. Any questions or comments by members of the city council?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, a couple of things, first of all, I want to acknowledge that a contract of this nature, a transition of this nature is extremely complex, and most people don't appreciate the level of effort that is required. I want to just make sure council has had an opportunity to read this in depth and make sure that any liabilities that may exist for train actions or accidents, et cetera, that happen to airport employees as they transition to Del Rey Oaks employees are safeguarded. We're safeguarded.
We are. We've been involved in the drafting process as well.
Okay, very good. And secondly, I just want to acknowledge again what the city manager said. This is a net savings to the city of Del Rey Oaks, and just fabulous work. Net savings to the airport too. Happy that the board has approved it just today. That's right. All right, terrific. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments by members? Yes.
Well, I just want to add to all that, that I understand there was a lot of work that was put into this. I also want to thank everyone involved with this process, and we're going to be even a safer city. We are the safest city. We're going to be even safer, and the police presence will be out there. And I know that there's been several little areas that we've been requesting more police presence for, speeding or, whatnot. And I look forward to that. So thank you. Thank everybody that brought this all together. It's a great day for Del Rey Oaks.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
Yes, I'd like to thank everybody involved in all this hard work of putting together this wonderful agreement. I know Del Rey Oaks is going to benefit by it, as well as the airport, and I'd like to thank you all very much.
Can I ask one more,
please?
Can you tell me where in this it talks about dispute resolutions? Now, whatever.
9.3.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Any other questions, comments by members of the council? Seeing none, public, any questions or comments by members of the public?
Question. Here. I'm just curious, a couple times in all this, I'm going to call this in the paper, obviously, about kind of sweet. In the paper, a few times, it talked about the airport police union possibly bringing a lawsuit because they're a year into a 3-year contract. Is that still out there? If it is, I didn't see anything in there about the labor part of that. I'm just curious how we're going to handle that. And then again, it's just a question. All I know is I'll read the paper. So, thanks.
Any other questions or comments by members of the public? If not, I'll turn to the city manager.
Yeah, the answer to that is that first of all, anything any sort of suit, labor suit that the union might bring regards the airport and not the city, first of all. Second of all, it's my understanding that based on the nature of our agreement, that any lawsuit will be withdrawn, and we look forward to having several of the airport officers beginning work with us in the weeks ahead.
Great. Seeing no other questions by the public. Oh, I'm sorry, one more.
I think I have another question. It is a serious question, but it's a little light. So I have a hangar on the airport on the north side. I always catch myself moving too fast on that because it's a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit. So when I eventually get a ticket, will it be from Del Rey Oaks?
Yes. Sir, we appreciate the revenue that we're giving to Del Feel free to
Just speak it well, right?
Thank you.
Watch out.
Okay, coming back to the council, entertain a motion
Move to approve the resolution.
for the staff recommendation. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Very, very good. Thank you very much, council. Next, we have considered the proposed budget amendments for 2018-19 We have four of them, resolutions 26, 27, 28, 29, talking about the budget adjustments for fiscal year, salary schedule for 18 through 19, salary schedule 2019 through 2019, resolution for the position control list, and I'll turn that over to the city manager again for explanation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mayor and council, first of all, on the last item, I somehow managed to not thank our council, as in our city attorney. So Alex Lorca and Scott Huber from the airport were instrumental in guiding us through and making sure that we were correctly protecting the city as it related to dispute resolution and other. So thanks, Alex. The budget adjustment before you is necessary to implement the police services agreement with the airport, resulting in police department expansion. Staff recommends using part of the anticipated net increase in revenues to hire a public works employee to replace our 30-hour-per-week public works services contract. The annual impact in the budget adjustment is that there will be a $1,097,408 service fee to the airport, and that will be revenue coming into the city. Our increased police expenditures will be $919,430 for a net savings of $177,978. When you look at the 9-month impact, because we are starting at October 1st for 9 months of this fiscal year, and deduct the one-time payment to the airport for $65,000 to cover police vehicles and weapons that will be transferred to Delray Oaks, our net savings this fiscal year will be $68,056. When you take into account the change in our staffing in the police department, because we currently have a police chief that's contract, we have 5 sworn positions on the position control list. Tonight's action by you will change that to 11 sworn positions, including the chief of police. Given the city's need to have, pivoting to the public works employee, given the city's need to have consistent long-term knowledge of our public infrastructure and residents' priorities and concerns, the need to support expanded efforts to beautify our city and neighborhoods and parks, and to allow for increased public works collaboration in areas such as development of the new RV storage lot on airport property, the city seeks to hire a permanent employee at an annual total cost of $89,600. When you deduct the $50,000 we're currently paying for a contract employee, that's an increase of $39,600 in our budget. When you deduct that from the $177,000 annualized savings, we still see an annual savings of $138,378 to the city. This year, because of the 9-month period, the savings to the city will be $38,356. So, in addition to the fiscal year 18-19 budget adjustment, staff is presenting to you a salary schedule effective October 1st and a salary schedule effective January 1st. The January 1st salary schedule, as you previously approved, sees a 10% increase in salaries for our police officers and police corporal and police sergeant. The salary schedule also increases the reserve pay from $25 an hour to $30 an hour. And this will allow us to bring over a couple of part-time officers from the airport and hopefully reduce our overtime costs by expanding our reserve officer pool. And finally, the position control list before you tonight increases the permanent city staff from 8 to 15. The budget adjustments presented will have a positive impact on the finances of the city while vastly improving our public safety capability and our public works capability. Any questions?
Any additional briefing, no questions? Yes. Councilman Brown.
So, I'm sorry, I can't avoid a little bit of humor. First of all, the non-humorous part is that I did look through these numbers and I tried very hard to find things. I couldn't find them. So, the second thing is, I wanted to know if this is the one that's maybe a little bit humorous. The one-time credit for equipment, I want to know if that was fully depreciated.
On paper only,
And finally, wanted to highlight that Jerry just seen, and Kristen, it seems like 5 years ago, we were at 2 million a year in revenues. More than that.
Yeah.
So, and the good news is that we've been able to put that to good use,
Yes,
spent it the right ways.
that's cool.
Well done.
Other questions, comments by members? Yes.
No, I'm just happy that we're gonna have a full-time position for maintenance, because we went from 2 full-time to 1 full-time to half-time, and it's time we go back to full-time. We have a really good person on board right now, so, he's a very hard worker, and, I'm very happy about that, so, thank you.
Comments? Okay, out to the public, any questions or comments by members of the public? Seeing none, back to the council. I'm trying to summarize. So basically, we're going from 8 employees to 15, and we're coming up with an annual impact of saving $138,000. If we double from there, we double the impact of savings. Okay, I'd entertain a motion for resolutions 2018 through 26, 27, 28, and 29.
So moved.
Second. Okay, any discussion on the motions? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carried unanimously. Thank you very much, Council. 2 for 2. Next, consider the chief of police contract. Dino, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council. Finally, this action, based on your approval of the police services contract and your approval of the amended budget, this is my request to you to authorize me to enter into a employment agreement with the chief of police and make Jeff Moyne the chief of police of the city of Del Rey Oaks. The contract before you has been staffed with our city attorney. It is fully funded through the appropriation you just made, and it brings proven quantity in Chief Moyne to the city. Any of your questions? Please, Mayor.
Okay, we've all had a chance to go through the contract in detail. Any questions or comments by the council?
I'll just,
Yes, please, sir.
okay. Page 3 and 14. I just wanted to make it for the record that $155,000 a year per year seems like a very reasonable salary for me, to me. And second page, 4 of 14. The 120 hours of paid sick leave. First of all, I'll never be sick. I've seen him in here when he was sick, so.
Yeah, right.
And I see they go, and it can accumulate up to 240 hours. Now, that is, where did that come from?
I believe I lifted that right out of my agreement.
Oh, right up here.
Right.
All right.
He gave that portion of his agreement to the chief.
Very generous of you. Okay, again, I think that's a lot of sick time, and I don't expect him to ever be sick, but I think it's recognition for the quality of person that we're getting and the expectations on the position. So I think that was all that I see here. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, any other questions or comments by members of council? Saying none, now to the public. Any questions or comments by members of the public? Good evening, this evening. Come back to the council. I'd like to just say that I think Chief Moyne is one of the finest police officers I've met. I've had an opportunity to work with him since he came in here. Top notch. I mean, you're the epitome of what a police officer, a chief of police should be. And we're honored to have you, and thank you, service. Thank you, sir. Very much appreciated. I entertain a motion.
I mean, that we approved the chief of police contract with Dino.
And you have a second?
I second.
Any discussion of the motion? All in favor, signal by saying aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. Yes, a brief comment by the.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm ripping through this so fast. Back to the budget item. That was a pull. That was a heavy lift. that lead in this city was Kim Carvalho. So Kim is, she is our budget person. She worked with Karen. Karen helped her very much, but the main lift was with her. And her eyes crossed numerous times, my eyes crossed numerous times, but she got it done. I just want to thank her.
Let's have
Mr. Mayor? Sure. Yes, I want to comment. You know, one of the things that we should all fully appreciate is because of the staff work that was done here, you know, this could have been an hours-long discussion. But because of the in-depth work that was done, it wasn't. And so thank you again to the staff.
Thanks to the council too. The council just didn't show up here with a packet, not having looked at the package that's all sent out. The council reads the packet, gets to the city manager individually, discusses the packet, any questions or whatever, so we come here, it's a little bit more efficient. Any other questions are raised, if Vice Mayor says something and Councilmember Allen hears something and has a question on that, that's where the questions come from. If not, we try to make it as efficient as possible, so very good. Okay, next we have the public comment period. Any member of the public may address the council on any item not on the agenda. You've got 3 minutes. Anybody wishing to speak, please give your name and address basically.
George Jackson, 1060 Palmer Road. After hearing all of this, I want everybody to know I've lived in the city since 1955. I haven't been involved with city government all of that time, but since I have, which has been probably 25 years, I've never seen the city run so smoothly. And I want to thank you guys and the staff. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Any other comments from members of the public? Seeing none, public comment period is closed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are